So I go by Shuff. Been my nickname for a long time. 37, from small town country. Father of two, married. I was a butcher for 15 years, worked in retail. Now I'm working as a maintenance man for my county school system. It feels like to actually make money in Bitcoin, you would need a lot of money to make it worth the effort. That's how I feel about it. I've just never been a really big risk taker. Stocks or any kind of other thing, I've never really messed with it because it just seems like it's just a risk. It seems like a lot of information and I just never really dove into it. So what actually gives the Bitcoin value? How does it have value if it's something that just came from the internet and got mined and stuff? So is there a finite amount of Bitcoin? Is there a cap on how much can be out there? What would you say the average of the population that uses Bitcoin today? Is there any fear of any government entity getting in between? Can it be shut down once you hit the max that the cap of Bitcoin? What's going to stop people with more money buying most of it or getting their hands on it? Unfortunately, I think I'm going to.
Unfortunately. Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we are building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So if you are brand new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot in the studio today. I'm your host, Stuart, Bitcoin Dad.
And I'm Chris, founder and CEO of Ithaca Hummus.
And today in the virtual studio, we have number 112, Shuff. And he does not have any old Bitcoin and doesn't want to get started yet because, do small amounts of Bitcoin really add up over time? So we're gonna be tucking into that here today. Shuff, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself to our Satillionaires and then kind of talk to us a little bit about why you feel that way.
So my name's Steven Shuffler. I go by Shuff. Been my nickname for a long time. 37, from small town country. Father of two, married. I was a butcher for 15 years, worked in retail. Now I'm working as a maintenance man for my county school system. Had to get out of the retail world. It was getting a little too stressful. So needed a change of view to re-energize my wanting to go to work, because I'd wake up in the morning and just be like, I don't want to go to work today.
Yeah. So just like each of us, dad working hard, trying to provide, kind of running out of gas as a retail butcher. Now you're helping to maintain schools. And you're working to earn money and you're trying to provide for your family. And in the back of your head, you're thinking, well, I shouldn't get started with Bitcoin because I can only buy a little bit at a time, and there's no way that's going to mean anything over the long run. Is that right?
Yeah, basically.
So tell us a little bit more about why you feel that way.
Well, just because what's the growth rate of Bitcoin per year on average, you would say?
Well, it kind of depends, right? So 16 years ago, Bitcoin was going up 1,000% a year, 2,000% a year, something crazy. And, it's been 16 years to where now, now it's averaging about a 200% increase per year. The last time Chris and I looked it up. And over the past 12 months, it's gone up 100%. So it kind of started at 2,000% and has kind of been, averaging downward to where, it's, oh man, it's only going up 100%. I mean, what else out there in the world does that? It's give me a break. So to answer your question, it goes up a lot each year. And is that something that you knew, or is that something that you didn't know?
Well, I knew it grows up because I've had a few friends that invest in a lot of different cryptos like XRP and Bitcoin and different other stuff. And, they're always talking about how everything else doesn't really, it would go up, but not Bitcoin's been pretty steady for them. So it's but it feels like to actually make money in Bitcoin, you would need a lot of money to make it worth the effort. In my, that's how I feel about it. I guess another big part about it is like I've just never been a really big risk taker, and it just seems like in like stocks or any kind of other thing, I've never really messed with it because it just seems like it's just a risk.
Does it feel like, I would need to really study this and understand what I'm doing, because if I don't, then I could lose a lot of money that I don't have to lose right now.
Exactly. I mean, that's a big part of it too. Yeah, it's just like it seems like a lot of information, and I just never really dove into it. Like I was like, well, I know that it has some sort of value, but it's just like I haven't really took the time to really look into it because I didn't think it was worth the time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there is a lot there. And, there's partly like, okay, I haven't learned enough about it. There's partly like, I hope I don't lose money trying to make money. Do we need to address how Bitcoin works or the risk levels of it to be able to kind of close the loop on why small amounts do add up over time? Or can you set that aside for a minute to listen to that part and then keep rolling?
Yeah, I can set that aside and listen to that for a little bit.
Okay, so maybe if for a minute, let's assume you have learned enough about Bitcoin to say, wow, this is the money of the future. Got it. And let's say you've learned enough about Bitcoin to say, hey, this is actually something for people who don't like risk. The reason why I'm in Bitcoin is because I'm not a risk taker. That's why I'm in Bitcoin. So if we refocus on, well, it's almost like it's too late, like, or I don't have enough money. If I wanted, if I like, because I thought about this too, Shuff. If I put in $10 now and Bitcoin goes up by 10x, I'm only going to have $100. And that's like, well, shoot, I wish I had $100 so I could get 1,000, or I wish I could put in 1,000 so I could get 10,000. Or what I've really thought about is there a way I can put in enough money to where then it becomes $1 million and I'm good, But it's something that dollar cost averaging just completely solves for you. Are you familiar with dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin or into stocks or?
Not really, no. Yeah, I'm new to like the investing aspect of like the world. Like I don't really know a lot about it or haven't really got into investing at all.
Okay.
Other than like what my work does, like other than my 401k, my pension and stuff like that. Like I don't anything outside of that I don't really do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just like you, Shuff. I mean, before I found Bitcoin, I was just trying to like do the company match on my retirement to like make sure I took advantage of what they were willing to give to me. So I was kind of very low interest myself until I found Bitcoin. And when I found Bitcoin, I learned about dollar cost averaging. And this was a big piece of the puzzle for me, Shuff, to kind of recognize that if I just bought little bits of Bitcoin each week or each month with some money that I wasn't going to need anyways, or that I was wasting on, that third trip to Chick-fil-A this week, I could provide for my family over the coming decades. So here's what dollar cost averaging is. It's basically like, hey, I'm gonna buy $50 of Bitcoin a month every month. Or I'm going to buy $50 worth of Bitcoin, every week. Some people I know of, they buy like $20 a week. Some people buy $20 a day. The point is you would sit down with your wife and you would say, hey, if we look at our budget, do we have any kind of loose change, jingling around in there? And if it turns out that you guys have like $100 a month that you could round up, well, you could buy $100 of Bitcoin a month or $25 Bitcoin a week. And when I did the math, it was like, okay, if I buy one Bitcoin at $100, like obviously it's at $115,000 right now, but like just for math purposes, let's say I buy one Bitcoin at $100. The next week, I buy one Bitcoin at $150. And the third week, I buy Bitcoin at $200. Then I've got 3 Bitcoin. And it's 100 plus 150 plus 200, which is $450 I've spent.
Mm-hmm.
Divide the 450 by the 3 Bitcoin, that means that I have 3 Bitcoin at $150 per Bitcoin. Even though I bought it at 100, 150, 200, and today it's at 200, my cost basis is below because I've averaged my dollars into it over time.
Right. So is there a finite amount of Bitcoin? Like, is there a cap on like how much is out there and how much can be out there?
Yes, 100%. And that's one of the biggest, best things about Bitcoin. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin.
Like ever? Like that's the limit.
That's the limit. And a lot of beginners are like, well, $21 million is barely enough to even be a rich person these days. So how can 21 million Bitcoin, like, how can there be enough for all of us? And the answer is that each Bitcoin breaks down into sats. This is sat chats, right? Sats is the smallest part of a Bitcoin. There's 100 million sats in each Bitcoin.
Okay.
And right now you can get about 850 sats for a single dollar.
Oh, wow.
So if you said, hey, I'm going to buy, $10 worth of Bitcoin a week, you would be stacking about 8,500 Satoshis. And the way that Bitcoin works, you're just going to see the value of your investment go up and up and up over the long term. It's definitely something that you want to kind of treat as like long-term savings for your family.
Satoshi's the founder, right? He was the guy that founded Bitcoin.
Yes. But the way Bitcoin works, you don't have to know.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin follows rules that we all can see and agree on. And the person who made Bitcoin could not, can't control Bitcoin today because it's gotten to be so big.
Right. What would you say the average population or the average percent of the population that uses Bitcoin today? Half the people in the world use Bitcoin, or like 20%, or like what would you say?
It's like 3 to 9% of the world. Top. Seriously, dude. And Shuff, this is kind of like, I want you to imagine that the world is plagued with bacterial infection and only 3 to 9% of the world understands that penicillin is the solution.
Golly, yeah. That's a good analogy.
And we are cured, okay? We are healthy, and we're saying, guys, just put this like mushroom mold in your body and you'll be fine. And everyone's like, absolutely not. No, I will never inject or eat some kind of mushroom, fungus, whatever. That there's no way that's secure. And we're like, we promise it is.
Yeah. Just trust me, bro.
Trust me. And they're like, no way.
And like, I feel like if once you hit the max that the cap of Bitcoin comes out, what's going to stop people with more money buying most of it or like getting their hands on it?
Nothing. But that will drive the price of Bitcoin up to like not 115,000 per coin, but 115 million per coin. And then if you're buying $100 a month every month, that's $1,200 in a year. Let's say you do that for 5 years. You're $6,000 over 5 years.
If you were to dollar cost average $100 a month into Bitcoin for the next 20 years, okay, you said you're 37, so 40, 57. So before you're 60, you would have contributed a total of $24,000 over that 20-year period. And the value of that $24,000 at a 40% compound annual growth rate, which is, maybe a little bit high, but I think it's fair. Is $2.9 million. You'd have $2.9 million if you took $100 a month and put it into Bitcoin. There's a lot of options in there, but like that is the power of compound interest in a very high performing asset over time. So the idea that, I can only afford $100 a month or, whatever, $200 a month, the more you put in, obviously the more it'll be worth. It's just it's so common for people to feel that way. I used to feel that way. I was a cook, until I was 25, 26 years old, and I lived paycheck to paycheck. I was not thinking at all about investing in my future. And so I can totally relate to how that feels. But man, if you just take a little bit of money of today's money and put it in, you can secure, a decent retirement for yourself and for your family ultimately.
Yeah. So what actually gives the Bitcoin value? How does it have value if it's something that just came from the internet and got mined and stuff?
Sure. All right. And this is awesome. Okay. Because now I get to kind of correct something I've been trying to express for a long time. Bitcoin has value because it is useful.
Okay.
The utility of Bitcoin makes it valuable as we move into the future. So when you think about US dollars, it's this slip of paper that we are legally required to accept, that is something that was largely put together last century. I mean, that is an outdated form of money that it does not even contain all the properties of good money. Good money should be able to help you understand what something is worth. Hey, this is worth $10. This is worth $100. It's worth $1,000. We got that. It should be able to get you stuff. Hey, here's the meat I butchered for you. That'll be $70. All right, cool. It should also be able to store your value. And when you think about being a kid in the 90s taking $20 to, like the Blockbuster, for example, or to the Little League game, you could get like 100 Airheads with $20 at the Little League game when you were a kid, And these days, like I just went to the grocery store this morning to get some coffee, and one small bag of coffee was like $11. It's like, and it was on sale. I'm like, this is crazy. So I know that your money is not going as far as it used to, and that's because the dollar can't store your value. It just can't do it. Bitcoin is so useful that it is valuable. It is useful as the world's new form of money. You can say, it can tell you how much something is worth. This is worth 10,000 sats. This is worth 100,000 sats. This is worth 1 Bitcoin or 10 Bitcoin. It can be exchanged. I could buy the baseball cap right off your head right now, and I could use my phone to send you 15,000 Satoshis for your baseball cap. You'd have to be willing to sell it for about $18, but that's what 15,000 sats would be. All right. But more importantly, it stores your value. Okay. When you put your hard-earned time and money into Bitcoin, it's there for you when you come back. Okay. And here's why. When you put your hard-earned time and energy into the US dollar, by the time you come back to spend that money out of your savings account, the United States has increased the amount of US dollars in circulation out of thin air for no good reason other than that they are spending too much money themselves and need to print their own little token.
Yeah.
You're not making money faster than they're printing it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
With Bitcoin, its supply is not only limited, it's fully capped. There is a verifiable amount of Bitcoin. And so if you give yourself 1 million sats, which is about $1,200, that share of the Bitcoin network is going to be your share. It's not getting bigger. It's not getting smaller. And so as more people go, shoot, this is really useful, they grow the value of it, and your purchasing power grows.
Not all of it's in circulation now, right? It's not all the Bitcoin's not out yet.
Correct. There's about 20 million of the 21 million that are available. But listen to this, man. The remaining 1 million miners using their computers to do a bunch of hard math work, they will be mining Bitcoin for the next 100 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
Why is it taking, 100 years to get to the next million?
So Satoshi put together a supply schedule for Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
And what that supply schedule does is it starts Bitcoin off 16 years ago at an incredible rate. Every 10 minutes, 50 Bitcoin were mined and added to supply. So Bitcoin was just spilling out everywhere. So once every 210,000 blocks at 10 minutes a block is about 4 years. Bitcoin's new supply, Bitcoin's forward supply gets cut in half.
The reward for solving a block gets cut in half. So when you're a miner, you mine and you get a block reward if you solve the problem. Yeah, you get a block reward. The reward for solving that block gets cut in half approximately every 4 years. So it was 50, then it went to 5, and then it went to 12 and a half, and then 6.12. Now it's at 3.125.
Correct. So 16 years ago, there were 50 new Bitcoin every 10 minutes. These days, there's 3.125 every 10 minutes. So think about it. What Satoshi saw was, okay, guys, let's get this out there. Let's get some adoption. Let's get some utility. And then almost in a mirror, or almost like a not a mirror image, but like it's the reverse of the US dollar. The supply of the US dollar is just going up and up and up. The US government printed like 40% of all dollars all over again during the pandemic. Like if there were 100 trillion US dollars in 2020, there was like 140 trillion by 2024 or something like that. Politicians are, recently approved some kind of, spending bill that's going to increase our debt from 37 trillion to like 42. Like they're just more and more and more and more and more. Bitcoin is less and less and less and less and less. So the moment you realize that this future of money is different from the money you have, and that it's available around the clock worldwide with nobody getting in between you and who you're sending it to, you start to realize, holy moly, this is the most useful form of money that humanity has ever had.
Yeah. So is there any fear of any government entity like getting in between? Can it be shut down? Like, is it something that can be controlled by any outside sources or anything?
Great question. And the answer is no. And that's part of what makes Bitcoin so freaking useful, because it is something that we all operate. So Bitcoin is operated by computers all around the world. Just regular people with regular computers are choosing to power their own money network. Okay. And when you download Bitcoin Core or not, or another one of these, nodes, you run it on your laptop. And the laptop has a copy of the entire history of Bitcoin, so that you don't have to trust anyone to tell you that Bitcoin has done what it's done. You have your own unique copy. And every 10 minutes, all the computers update and check all the activity and make sure nothing's wrong. And then they keep cruising. So right now there are about 23,000 nodes around the world supporting the Bitcoin network. Okay. 23,000 computers that are running a piece of software. Like, did you ever like get into that SETI craze back in the day? SETI?
No, I didn't know.
Okay, so my cousin Winchester, when he was a teenager, he was all about it. I think it was NASA or somebody. They had a piece of software called SETI, I think it was. And you would download it, you would run it on your computer. And what it would do is when you were not using your computer, it would take your computer's processing power and put it into a giant pool that was dedicated to searching for alien life.
Oh, that's cool.
So basically, if you were that kind of guy who was like, dude, extraterrestrials, they're out there, man. Skulder and Lucky, they're out there. You think about those big satellite dishes. They're like they're listening for any sounds out there. You could say, hey, this is cool. I want to contribute to this. I'm going to run this software to kind of give my computing power to you so that you can search for alien life. The same is true for Bitcoin. You take a little bit of your computer's processing power to monitor and support the Bitcoin network, okay? And that allows people to send Bitcoin back and forth from one another. I can send Bitcoin right to you.
Mhm.
Bitcoin is straight to you. And for the government, any government, to try to control this, they would need to find 23,000 random individual laptops and computers around the world. How?
Yeah, that'd be a tall task.
Plus, the U.S. government has Bitcoin, and they're thinking about getting more Bitcoin. So you're going to shut down something you're buying yourself? No way.
Right. You're right.
No way.
Mhm.
So it, and the big fancy word for that, Shuff, is decentralized. Right. So the U.S. government is centralized in Washington, D.C. That's where it is. Right.
Yeah.
Technically, allegedly, I mean, it's more nuanced than that, but that's if you want to go to the U.S. government, that's where it is. It's in Washington, D.C. Where's Bitcoin?
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It is on the internet. It's like the Romans showing up and say, which one of you is Spartacus? And a computer in Brazil says I'm Spartacus, and a computer in Prague says I'm Spartacus, and a computer in Tokyo says I'm Spartacus. We're all Spartacus.
So a term I've heard in reference to Bitcoin is the blockchain. What is that?
Okay. This is great, man. So the blockchain is a key piece of the Bitcoin puzzle. And when you think about 23,000 computers all working together to power the Bitcoin network, what's to say one of them doesn't just lie and say, I have 50 Bitcoin because I say so, and I just sent 10 of that to you. I mean, how can you possibly keep people from being dishonest when we're talking about magic internet money that, just comes out of thin air? It doesn't. It comes out of hard work and energy. It's the US dollar that comes out of thin air. But anyways, the answer is the blockchain. So let's imagine a little scenario here. We'll simplify it down, Shuff. I'm going to say that I start off with 50 Bitcoin, okay? I mined a block during the early days, and I got myself 50 Bitcoin. Cool. Once every 10 minutes, we're going to add a block to the blockchain, and we're going to basically record that I got 50 Bitcoin because of my mining activity, all right?
Yeah.
In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to take 10 of those Bitcoin because I'm so greedy. I can't even in this fictional example, I can't bear to part with more than 10 Bitcoin. So in the next block, I'm going to send 10 Bitcoin to you. Okay. So in that second block, all of these computers are going to record kind of like, it's like a big fat spreadsheet in the sky, but it's actually like a small spreadsheet that each of the 23,000 computers keeps for themselves so that there's no funny business. You can't tell me that you made a change that I haven't seen and verified yet, because I have my own little copy here behind my own little castle walls. So in that next block, it's going to say, okay, Stuart sent 10 Bitcoin to Shuff. That means that we're going to look at the 50 Bitcoin Stuart got last block. We're going to change it together to this new block, right? We're going to take the bottom of this block, we're going to connect it into the top of the new one, and we're going to say, okay, at the beginning of this block, Stuart has 50. He sends 10 to Shuff. Now Stuart has 40. Shuff has 10. Then another 10 minutes goes by. They're going to connect the next block in and say, okay, you're going to send 5 of your 10 Bitcoin to Chris. And I'm going to send 5 of my Bitcoin to Chris. And so it'll say, okay, at the top of this block, Stuart had 40. Shuff had 10. They each sent 5 to Chris. Now Stuart has 35. Shuff has 5 and Chris has 10. So it's the, you know, the blockchain is a database of transactions. But unlike keeping a single ledger inside its own software that it could technically mess around with, you've got basically 23,000 independent copies of this ledger. And the big fancy term for it is distributed ledger. It's a distributed ledger. Let's imagine in that fourth block, Shuff, I try to send 50 Bitcoin to Chris. Well, they would say, okay, well, at the start of the block, you had 35 and Shuff had 5 and Chris had 10. You're sending 50 Bitcoin across the network to Chris. We can see here that you used to have 50, but you don't have 50 anymore. It won't go through. The blockchain is kind of like it's like the accounting part of Bitcoin that makes sure that you can't cheat. And what it actually did, by the way, it kind of sounds like not really that interesting. It's like, okay, cool. It's a big fat spreadsheet in the sky, but it is cool because what it did was it solved the copy paste problem of the internet, Shuff. When I write 1,000-word essay, I can just Control A, Control C, Control V, bam, another 1,000. You know, you can copy anything you want 1,000,000 times in the digital space, but with Bitcoin you can't. You can't. So even though it's an insane breakthrough, it's a brand new form of computation that probably has implications that we don't even know what they are yet. But what we know right now is that it makes for incredibly good money.
So I guess the people who own Bitcoin govern Bitcoin, basically.
It's kind of like, you know, Bitcoin is governed by rules.
Right. There's a certain set of rules there that Satoshi put in place, right?
Yes. And it's like, okay, you know, at first you will issue 50 Bitcoin, then you will issue 5, then 12 and a half, you know, and also, you know, there's nodes, miners, the blockchain, you know, you can solve a block every 10 minutes. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin is governed by rules that everyone has to follow if they want to be a part of the network. The US dollar has rules that you and I have to follow.
Right.
But the government doesn't have to follow at all. If we want to change those rules, then all 23,000 nodes need to agree on it, or at least a significant majority have to agree on it. If one of the 23,000 nodes says, everybody, I'd like for there to be 42 million Bitcoin, not 21 million Bitcoin, the other 22,999 nodes will say, they'll get out of here, leave, get out. Don't be here. So, but if they say, hey guys, we found a way to make transactions cheaper by segregating some of the witness information out of the block and putting it over here, then the majority of nodes go, that's a really cool upgrade. Because by the way, your US dollar can't be upgraded. Bitcoin can be upgraded. And they say, wow, that's a really cool upgrade. We're going to upgrade our node to the latest version so that it supports that functionality. And that's how you grow and change Bitcoin. That's how you vote. That's how you get the consensus, is you upgrade your node to the version, you know, that works for you. So, you know, the US dollar is like the government's money. Bitcoin is the people's money network. We built it. We change it if we can agree. Think about trying to get 23,000 people
to agree on something. You can't get, a couple hundred to in Congress.
Unless it's like the most bomb upgrade of all time, it's probably not going to happen.
Right. Yeah, let's just flat across the board, this is a good thing. It's not going to happen.
So you're almost guaranteed for the good rules to never change. Bitcoin is something that we can rely on in a world where we can't rely on our money to store our value. We can't rely on the stock market to protect our retirements because they do a bunch of funny business with subprime, whatever. They crash it all out. We lose 20 years of our, gains. We can't rely on, mainstream media to give us information that is correct. We can't rely on social media to give us information we can't barely rely on any old thing in this world except for our own hard work as dads. But you can, in fact, rely on Bitcoin, and it is incredible. It is an incredible feeling once you actually put that together and go, here is how I can take any amount of money I earn at any level of income. It's almost like back in the day when you were like in the 1970s, Shuff, you could be like a mailman and have like a good house and a good home.
On a single income.
On a single income, dude. On a single income. And have a retirement, everything. These days, no way. Unless you start converting some of the easy money that you are into hard money. If you want more US dollars, all you have to do is be the government and print more. But if you want more Bitcoin, you must get it from someone who has it or mine it through the use of energy, ultimately, that goes into your computer. So not everyone has to work for the US dollar. Everyone must work for Bitcoin. Government included, corporations included, you name it, right? So for me, Bitcoin allows me to regain the possibility of taking my income level and turning it into an ability to provide for my family over the coming decades and retire with dignity instead of doing what a lot of people are thinking about doing, which is retiring into a part-time job until they can't do that anymore. And then they're going to be the old man that like puts a sticker on your chest at Walmart when you walk in. I guess just die standing up in the entrance of Walmart. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. Do any major retail stores accept Bitcoin yet?
Steak and Shake right now is
really?
Yeah, Steak and Shake takes Bitcoin, and I believe it's driving sales for them just because Bitcoiners are like, finally, I can buy something with my Bitcoin.
How is there like a timetable on when it's expected that most people will start taking Bitcoin as an actual form of currency for them?
I don't know, but I would guess that in 9 years, you will be able to tap to pay with your Bitcoin in most retailers. Yeah, guaranteed.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Guaranteed, because there's going to be a demand for it. You know what I mean? So stack sats now because, if you buy $20 today, 10 years from now, that $20 will be $200. Because by the way, Chris was talking about how it might go up 30 to 40% year over year. Now that's kind of like calming down.
It's slowing down. Yeah.
I don't believe it's slowing down. I believe 3 to 9% of the world has adopted it, and it's gone from 0 to 115K. When you 10x that, and you have the entire world using it, it's not going to be 115K a coin. It's going to be 1 million, 10 million, 20 million. I mean, if I could put 115K into it now, in 15 years, I'll have $20 million or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it won't be 8,000 Satoshis for Steak and Shake. It'll be 8.
Right.
But I can get 850 sats right now for $1. And then later I can buy $8 worth of Steak and Shake for 8 sats. Let's go.
Yeah. Right.
So anyway, you can see here, Shuff, that it is just Bitcoin. There's so much to it that we won't ever fit all of it into a single chat.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
So we do ask each of our guests if they'd be willing to come back on in 9 months to give us an update on their Bitcoin baby, would you be willing to come back on the show in 9 months?
Sure. And I have one more question after we're done.
Okay, well let's hit it real quick. What you got?
Okay, so like, how would I invest in Bitcoin? Like, I don't even know. Like, just get it on Venmo. How do I transfer my US dollar into a Bitcoin?
Yeah. You will go online and you will exchange your dollars for Bitcoin.
It's just like that. Okay, I didn't know if there was like a process you had to do or
no.
Yeah.
You could download the Coinbase app and get yourself set up and buy $50 right now.
Okay.
You could go to bitcoinwell.com/satchat. You could get set up there and they will send the Bitcoin directly to you. My Uncle Mike, for example, he has Cash App on his phone. And he's like, where can I go to get Bitcoin? I'm like, pull up that you have Cash App? He's like, yeah. I'm like, pull it up. And there's a little tab called Bitcoin. And you can buy Bitcoin right on Cash App.
Oh, okay.
I think you can buy Bitcoin on Venmo and PayPal right now. So you just go online and get it. It's really
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was it.
Yeah. And if you're just getting started, I'd recommend Coinbase or Cash App, right? Because they're real easy. And then the more you learn about Bitcoin and the more you're like, I want to hold the keys to my generational wealth, then you move to pulling the Bitcoin off of Coinbase into like a wallet on your smartphone.
Right.
Or working with Bitcoin Well to just send it there in the first place and never leave yourself open to the risk that someone will come hack into an exchange and walk away.
Cash App or Venmo or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how you do it. Real easy.
Okay.
So let's recap that here. We had Shuff, late 30s, country guy, a lot of time as a butcher. Now he's maintaining public schools. And he's got a wife. He's got 2 kids. He's got himself, the traditional retirement vehicles, all good. And you should keep rolling with those because it's not, you're already doing it. It's all good.
Yeah.
And what we treated was this idea of, if I want to take advantage of Bitcoin's gains, I need to have more money than I have now. And that's just not the truth.
Right.
When you think about someone who bought $50 worth of Bitcoin 16 years ago, when it was $1 per coin, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I really should have just put a whole $1,000 in. He now has 50 times $115,000, which is like, $5 million.
$5 million, yeah.
So what we found was, hey man, look at your budget, try to find $50 a month and set it up on Coinbase or Cash App or Venmo or PayPal or Kraken or Gemini or Bitcoin Well. Set it up so that once a month, it just buys $50 worth of Bitcoin for you. Don't even, just automate yourself out of that process. And then keep living your life. Keep living your life. I would recommend you listen to more episodes of Sat Chats.
Yeah.
So that on your commute into work and your commute home from work, or if you're walking the dog, you can learn more about Bitcoin. And eventually you'll go, I want to go talk to my wife about $50 a week.
Right.
And then over time you'll go, ooh, I want to talk to my wife about converting our emergency fund into Bitcoin. And then you say, I want to talk to my wife about converting our college savings for the kids into Bitcoin. You'll get to where you're like all of us Bitcoin husbands, where we just want our wives to let us buy more freaking Bitcoin because we want to provide for our family long term in a risk-free way, and we know that Bitcoin is the answer. We also talked about a lot of key subjects like, hey, who is Satoshi Nakamoto? What makes Bitcoin valuable? What is the blockchain? We just kind of covered a lot of great elements of Bitcoin. And ultimately, you take a step back and you look at Bitcoin, you say, man, Bitcoin is the money of the future. Fiat currency, whether it's the US dollar or the euro or the yen,
the pound or the
it's the money of the past. Bitcoin is decentralized. Fiat currency is centralized. Bitcoin is operated by a set of rules that everyone can see and everyone must abide by. Fiat has a set of rules that's partially visible, partially not. We have to follow them. The issuer of the currency does not. There's a limited supply here. There's an unlimited supply here. It's like the comparison gets, the more you look at it, the more you're like, oh my gosh, I'm only going to use, I really need to get more of this stuff over here, even if it's a little bit at a time. You know what I mean? Because by the time you could have three, let's say your retirement turns out for you. Cool. How about $3 million on top of that? I mean, that's worth the risk to me. So anyways, so I'm going to take a break here. And I'm going to give it up to our lead sponsor here, Shuff. This is Ithaca Hummus.
I love hummus.
You love hummus. This is lemon dill. I'll serve as your taste buds here today. I love this flavor. Here we go.
Yeah.
It tastes like a cold pickle.
I love pickles too.
Like that dill flavor?
Yeah.
That's freaking super tasty. And we'll send you a thank you note here with a couple of vouchers so that you can go and get some of this for free.
Okay.
So now I'm going to make you an offer here, Shuff. Let me get this guy. And I'm going to try not to touch it because it's kind of gross. I'm going to just use the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know where this thing has been. You know what I mean? Right. But I'm gonna try to make old Ulysses look as good as I can make him look here. All right, so what we do here at the end of every show is we offer our guests some value in exchange for their value. So you came on the show, you gave us a lot of value here talking about some of the thought processes that have held you back from stacking your very first sats, okay? And that's hugely valuable to me because we believe our audience is full of pre-coiners and Bitcoin beginners who have the same questions, the same hangups that you do. So I'm going to offer you something in exchange for your time. I'm going to offer you either $50 or $50 worth of Bitcoin. And with over 853 Satoshis to the dollar right now, you can 43,650 sats today.
Yeah.
Okay. Pocket money today is rocket money tomorrow. I fully believe that 43,650 sats will one day be worth $43,650. But right now, $50 or $50 worth of Bitcoin, which one are you going to choose?
Let's see here. How about, unfortunately, I think I'm going to take the cash.
Unfortunately, I think I'm going to take the cash.
Yeah. Well, for your sake, because I know you're going to be bummed out about it. But I'll make you a deal.
Okay.
I won't spend that $50, and I'll do some more private research on my own. And then when I come back on 9 months, I'll let you know if I invested or not.
Okay, so you're going to hit me with the number 21 DEMA, which is give me the $50.
Yeah.
And I may or may not use it to buy Bitcoin.
I may or may not. Right.
Now, in your acceptance of the $50, you literally use the word unfortunately. Now, is that unfortunately for me because I'm trying to do the hard work, or is it unfortunately for you because you're choosing a piece of garbage for yourself and you know it?
I didn't want to hurt your feelings. You're such a cool dude.
Woof, dude. Woof. All right. So, $50. Ooh. All right. And one thing we're going to do for you.
Yeah.
When you come back on in 9 months, first of all, I'm going to go on a 9-month long soul spirit journey of discovery and to try to figure out what went wrong. But we'll do some mathematics, okay? So that when you come back on, we'll say, okay, when you took $50 back in August, there were this many US dollars in circulation. Now that it's been 9 months, because that'll be like May or June of next year, we'll say now there are this many dollars in circulation. And since the amount of dollars in circulation has increased, let's say it's like 10%,
Yeah.
We will say, okay, your $50 will now buy you $45 worth of stuff. And
Right.
we'll look at this number too. And I'm going to show it to the camera so we can remember.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're going to
Go ahead and
say,
clip it.
right? We'll say
Yeah.
the 43,650 can now get you $55 worth of stuff, $60, $70. We're going to see, right? Your
Yeah.
black cat is like shaking his or her head like, yo,
what
Dad,
you doing, bro?
your black cat is like, Bitcoin is a censorship resistant, decentralized money protocol of the future. What are you doing? So, all right. So you bring our show's scoreboard, Shuff, to 103 who have hacked the sats, along with 9 who have chosen the cat.
The money. Yeah.
9. So I think we are taking the US dollar to escuela. And I'm very happy that we reached 100 for Bitcoin before we ever got close to 10 for cash. For all our Satillionaires out there watching, do not forget to tune in every day at 11 a.m. Monday through Thursday. We premiere a new episode of Sat Chats. On Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern is our live game show, TikTok Next Block, where you play for 1 million sats. We need players, so come in and play the game with us. You can also sign up at satchats.com/TikTok Next Block. You need to be subscribed publicly to our channel in order to play the game. So go ahead and smash the subscribe button now on YouTube if you haven't already. When you do, you will be entered in for your chance to win 2 million sats when we reach 10,000 subscribers. You can also sign up to come on our show, satchats.com. Grab your slot in the studio today, just like Shuff did. You can help us mint the next brand new Bitcoiner by zapping your sats to satchats@getalby.com or sending your Bitcoin on-chain to the address in the show notes. If you want to sponsor our show, you can email me, show@satchats.com. Remember, SatChats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Also, our guests' views are their own. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.